Hey everyone, Stephen here with a fresh off the couch reaction to episode 2 of Loki, season 2. Let me tell you something. I'm pissed. I'm mad. I'm angry. I am livid that this show is so fucking good. It is so phenomenally good. It's so good that my friend Jordan and I had to pause it minimally twice. At least twice during its runtime, we had to pause it and discuss what we had just seen. This show is ooh, ooh. You know how something is so damn good that you get angry about it? I remember one of the first times I ever saw Chris Hemsworth. Um, and I actually got angry at him because he's so fucking good looking. I'm angry at this show for being so fucking good. And let me tell you one of the things that my friend Jordan and I discussed. Um, Brad Wolf, his character stole the entire show. This particular episode, he stole the entire show. Rafael Casal, that's his name, right?
Yep, Rafael Casal.
He is such a phenomenal actor. I mean, we looked over his credits, what he's been in, and this is clearly the biggest credit that he has so far in his career. And let me tell you something, he is
Phenomenal.
one to watch. Phenomenal. Thank you. That man is going someplace. He is such a phenomenally good actor. He needs to go far in this business because he is phenomenally good. The writing in this show is so good that it had us pausing it and discussing it as the episode was marching on. We were like, okay, we need to pause and decompress and talk about what we just saw because it was so, what the heck is going on?
Absolutely.
Incredible. So, we got short round took a back seat kind of in this episode. I'm glad that they're giving Casey more to do this season because Casey seems to be in the mix with Obi and B15 and the whole group. It looks like he has something to do, but they're setting it up for Miss Minutes to arrive next episode. Probably, I would assume that she would show up next
Miss
episode.
Minutes and possibly Renslayer.
And possibly Renslayer as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're not found at the same time in the same place.
Yeah,
you know, only because
hopefully at the same time. You never know.
Well, it was said that the last communication was on her TemPad was between her and Miss Minutes. So I would not be surprised if Miss Minutes and Renslayer was found, still working things out, or maybe even hiding. I don't know. But anyway, Obi, I'm sorry. He kind of took a back seat because he was searching things out, and basically the
temporal loom. It was the kind of fact of Obi was kind of in the background for the reason of basically. Let's hear the thoughts for a moment. The show is so good. He was primarily focused on trying to keep the TVA from just falling apart.
Right.
Because with the temporal loom unable to withstand all of the branching timelines, he was trying to find a way to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest aspects was the fact that he wasn't able to open the blast doors, and like pretty much like it seemed like the writing was on the wall, except for the big fucking thing they threw near the end.
Oh, with them destroying all of the
Yeah.
timelines.
One horrible tragedy, but also it's given them enough time. It's weirdly enough given them enough time. Haha, Loki, time travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's given the fact matters. Well, all the timelines are branched. The temporal loom is, at least for now, seems to be less of a threat.
Now, I saw where there were still a few branches still branching out
Yes.
from the sacred timeline, which makes me wonder. Well, first of all, I know that they weren't able to destroy all of them, but it also makes me wonder if he who remains was keeping one timeline going, right?
Yeah.
When he was killed by Sylvie, that meant all of the branches started happening. He's still dead, or yes, he who remains is still dead, and we know Kang is going to show up eventually and all of that. But it makes me wonder if them destroying all of those branches only slowed it down rather than stopped it altogether. You know,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the case because there were I only saw like maybe 3 or 4 branches coming off of the sacred timeline, and so Sylvie at the end was able to go back to her timeline.
Yeah,
So it just
alternate timeline.
right, it just makes me wonder if them destroying all those timelines just slowed it down. I mean, it's still going to branch out because he who remains is still dead.
Absolutely. And I feel like definitely with the fact that they couldn't get rid of all the timelines besides the sacred timeline. And this was like the whole effort of just we'll do what like is necessary, and like kind of that like bit of that loyalist sort of like them just kind of going through all the timelines all at once. Absolutely just suspenseful moment, gave us a good like a nice fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to miss the hold of my laughter, the fact that Sylvie works at a McDonald's. That's kind of to me like listen, you live your life. I just working at a fast food place wouldn't be what I would choose if I could go to any timeline.
Well, and that's interesting because, you know, Brad Wolf chose to become an actor,
Yeah.
you know, and which makes me wonder, was he, maybe there wasn't a Brad Wolf before he arrived. Because if there was and he actually killed the other person, that would be really dark.
That'd be really messed up.
But let me go ahead and flip this back around. It feels like you know, because remember Sylvie was taken when she was a child, so it's not as if she had. It feels to me like McDonald's makes sense for her.
You know, it does make sense in like that hindsight. It's the happiest place to be.
Right. Apparently. And at least in Broxton, Oklahoma, it is. Okay. So what else happened? We talked about Brad.
The interrogation scenes.
I mean, Raphael, is just, I mean, that whole interrogation scene needs to go down in history as one of the best scenes ever
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's so, so good. We've been going on for like 10 minutes now, so we're going to wrap this up. But if you have not seen Loki season 2 yet, do yourself a favor. As I said last
Also,
week,
sorry for spoiling this for you.
oh please! We told you last week that we were going to that the rest of the series is spoiler alert. So we already
Fair.
warned you last week. So we're not going to say spoiler alert at the top of each episode because I know for sure that if it continues to be as good as it is, we're just going to dive right in like we did this time. So
Oof, absolutely.
again, if you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favor. It's so good. It's so friggin' good. As I said last week, it's the best MCU series since the first season of Loki. So, how many butter pumps am I giving it? Just like last week, I'm giving it this a 5 out of 5.
Oh.
5 butter pumps. So, Mr. Jordan, how many butter pumps would you give it?
I will say I'm going to give it a five out of 5.
5 butter
Um,
pumps. Fives across the board.
I would have given a like if they never explained why he went a complete 180. I would have bumped it down, and I was a little confused kind of what it was. But now as they explained, like 20 something minutes in, it's like that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and that's why again, and I said this when we were watching it. I was like, this is what makes this show so good is because we paused it a couple of times talking about questions and it took them at least 20 minutes to answer those questions. So,
Absolutely.
and it kept us on the edge of our seats while we were waiting for those answers. So, anyway, please go watch Loki season 2. We will be back next week with another fresh off the couch reaction. Until next time, butter babies, I'll see you later.
And remember, for all time, always.
Correct. Bye.